No more F-bombs.
Yes, no more S-bombs. We are
And
live.
Can we have some light?
You know, today, Sid and Shane, I know that some festivities are around the corner, but I have a very culinary feeling today. Why? Kolkata and Hyderabad.
Thank God.
One is the land of sweets, the other is the land of biryanis.
Wait, hello, what do you mean Kolkata is not the land of biryani?
Of course.
Also, Lucknow people might also be taking offense.
Exactly.
So as Delhi people also.
Oh, come on. I don't want to get into...
No, I'm not talking about biryanis only, by the way. I'm talking about everything else.
Oh, come on.
How can you discount something like chole bhature, butter chicken and all?
Exactly, and Rajma Chawal.
It's not Punjab yet.
So,
it's Kolkata versus Sunrisers Hyderabad.
I'm just saying, if we are talking about culinary delights, every place has its own.
I know, but I'm just focused today on this game. Kolkata Knight Riders versus Sunrisers Hyderabad. Don't go by the color. Don't go by the color what I'm wearing, please, before you make the predictions and call me Panoti and all the other things.
But definitely go by the color I'm wearing.
Yes.
Because on today's stream, you are with Mr. Bias. My
Bias.
fan-supporting alter ego. Let's just put it that way.
I know.
What alter ego? I don't think so. There's an alter ego. That's just you.
Could you be?
Yes, there is just Shane and there is just Bias. That's about it. And Pratik Mandal, I am Bengali. Anybody knows Bengali? Please, Shane.
I know Bengali, but if I start speaking
Bangla.
if I start speaking Bangla, then whatever people watch our stream will also stop. So
I know.
happy Bengali New Year to you.
Yes, Sanket Joshi is hello from Germany. Guten Tag and everybody. And we have Nikhil also from the hills, which is looking much more beautiful with every passing day.
Nikhil, by the way, every time he has come with us from the hills, he has chosen a different background, guys.
Of course.
And showing us the beauty, making us jealous. He's continuously making us jealous, boss. Nikhil, what is this? Why are you doing this to us?
Uh-oh.
Are we having technical issues?
Yes, we seem to be having audio issues.
No.
Wait, Nikhil, now I think so people can hear you. Please tell us, why are you making us jealous?
I can hear you guys. I can hear you guys, but can you guys see me?
Yes,
And now we can hear you also if you saw our reactions. I think we need some audio control.
Now, for some reason, now I can see you. I couldn't see you guys in the middle.
Hello.
Now I can. Yeah. So I hope you guys having a good time in the polluted air of Delhi NCR.
Rubbing it in our faces.
Cut, salt.
What is Saran saying?
He said that you're also coming tomorrow.
That you're coming back to the same pollution.
But 2 days of fresh air may give me that energy, the strength to carry on with a long extended IPL.
Show us the frame also.
Actually put it. Let's get our live stream up on screen.
And I will close my eyes. Because yesterday we bore the full brunt of the tornado dust storm here and our net connection went for a toss. So
a lot of people could not join us at the beginning of our stream for that post match.
Yes. So thank you guys for bearing.
It's been a busy news days. Huh? It's been a very
busy
news
days.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Joe Root. And I hope you've been keeping family members abreast with all that is happening.
Of course.
Done.
Yes. So Nikhil, the plan what we did was we announced the historic home summer for Pakistan. For the first time in history, a 7-match T20 series will be played. And on top of that,
wow,
the DC COVID scare case has happened. There is going to be an explainer coming out on who will be the next captain of England, test captain. Like their batting, like their bowling, it's looking threadbare. That's a preview of the video that's going to come up now.
A lot of people are saying that.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you guys. What are the reasons that led to Joe Root being?
I'll give you one.
And who would be the next guy who would be coming in place of him? All of those details, if you given our family members.
Yes, I'll give you one detail why Joe Root lost his, probably resigned from captaincy. They are saying, but he had to. That guy won 1 out of the last 17 tests. Considering how popular test cricket is in England, you are winning only 1 out of 17 games.
Yes.
Then you have to let go of your captaincy.
Oh.
Somebody was pointing out that he's the most successful captain England ever had. Boss, he captained in 64 games. He won 27, but he lost 26.
Sid,
also.
you are breaking all the suspense. I have presented everything in that. I'm gonna give all those details.
Ooh,
Every
Mama.
single.
When is the video out? I can't wait. When is the video out?
It will be out within the next hour, Nikhil. And by the way,
Lovely.
Kabir Sheikh is hi KKR fan here and missing Nikhil sir.
Well,
we
he
are
is
all
with
missing
us.
him.
Virtually.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Exactly.
Here. What, how can you miss me? I'm here, nah. Anyway, I for all our family members, I join. Whether I'm from the studio, whether I'm from here, I'm anyway joining online. So it's the same thing.
Nikhil would make Neil
But I'm missing
Armstrong
you
very
guys,
proud today.
And I'm missing series series predictions.
All lack thereof.
Which go wrong more.
I don't think anybody is missing them though.
No, definitely not.
See, don't go by the
He
shirt
got
I
it
wore
wrong.
today.
He got it wrong last night also.
Correct.
After winning two.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Terrible.
I know.
Moving on.
Terrible.
Yeah, so Shane Dyer, sir, that
When is
KKR.
Shane gonna get a KKR jersey? When is Shane gonna get a proper KKR jersey? This fake, whatever this
Fake.
he wears,
Fake?
which is half KKR, half.
Nikhil just said it's fake.
No, I bought it from an actual official, what do you call? It's one of their partners. But unfortunately, the jerseys right now are not fully available.
Yeah.
So,
Official merchandise.
Yeah.
it is.
No,
It's merch. It's merch.
But Nikhil, one of our family members, they don't agree with you. He says, Shane Dyer, sir, that KKR shirt is looking excellent on you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Kabir
Kabir
Yeah,
Sheikh.
he's looking excellent.
Did you pay
but he's
somebody?
not-
Did you
it's
pay
looking
somebody to
excellent.
comment that for you?
No. I don't know Kabir Sheikh personally, but thank you very much.
It's looking excellent, but it's not contributing to the profits of KKR, which are needed to get good players in the next auction. So as a fan, you should buy official jersey and then contribute to their profits.
Yeah, I'll contribute to their profits once, this company starts contributing to my bank account, which should be soon, hopefully. So,
It's coming. It's
It's
coming.
coming.
But there
It's
were
covered.
other companies contributing to your bank accounts before that, na?
yeah, let's not get into that discussion.
Yes.
Different discussion for a different time.
So you're already on the back foot in this. So
Oh, yes.
brace yourself for this because today KKR and Sunrisers Hyderabad, KKR definitely holds the edge. 19-7. Lockie Ferguson now playing for Gujarat Titans, but in the previous avatar for Kolkata Knight Riders, he really hurt Sunrisers Hyderabad a lot.
Yeah.
Took a
Remember
5-wicket
last
haul,
season?
took a hat trick, ensured that went to the super
Super
over.
over.
So luckily SRH will be feeling that.
Big news, big team news. Aaron Finch and Aman Khan are making their debuts for KKR today.
So I guess
Sam Billings is
goes
dropping
out.
and Rahane.
Rahane goes out. Sam Billings goes out.
No, actually,
most
Rahane
probably.
drops down.
No, I think so. Sam Billings will go out, and even Rahane will go out.
Yeah, and bring Sheldon
and then
Jackson.
Sheldon Jackson
Correct.
will come in, and Aaron Finch will be in place of Rahane.
Yes.
It had to happen.
It
We
had
were
to
expecting
happen,
it was
yes.
happening that this game. We put a poll out also,
Yes,
asking
and-
you guys whether you think Rahane should be dropped for this game and whether Aaron Finch should get a game. So that has happened.
It has happened. Also, there was a lot of indication that it would because from the minute Aaron Finch arrived in the camp, the KKR social media teams had been going gaga over the fact that he's coming. First net session, first interaction. You really got they could not have foreshadowed any move they tried that he's going to be getting a game.
But he really hasn't set the IPL on fire ever.
I agree with you.
So let's just see how he goes.
His
because
ninth team, by the way.
also
in the
not,
IPL.
not to forget, only Chennai Super Kings remain.
And
Otherwise,
Lucknow,
yes,
among the new ones.
Has he played for Sunrisers? No?
Yes.
When?
He played in
once.
2014.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So he has played for almost among the old teams. He has played for everybody except Chennai
Chennai
Super
Super
Kings.
Kings. Correct.
Yes. And bit of information about Aman Khan, Siri. This is not his first team, by the way. Aman Khan played for the Mumbai Indians. He was there in the squad, but he never played a game for
I
them.
think that's a strategy a lot of teams employ, that they'll see who MI scout
Yeah.
and they'll just bring them into their teams once they get cut.
But we know who will be replacing.
Yes.
Rashik
Yes.
Salam.
Rashik Salam.
Because poor guy, 2 games he played, second game also he could not
Yeah.
complete, only bowled that 1 over, and unfortunately because of an injury he has now been ruled out of this IPL
Yes.
entirely. So really
Okay.
unfortunate for a youngster.
It is.
But another one gets a chance in his place, and let's see
Yes.
how Aman Khan goes.
Yeah. Before I come to this game, Nikhil, this question is for you. Does BCCI need to brace up for the COVID challenge? Jatin Hans has said. Before you answer that question, Nikhil, do you think the BCCI is better prepared, unlike the 2021 fiasco, to combat the COVID situation, as we saw in the DC team, Patrick Farhad tested positive. So, are they much better equipped to deal with the COVID challenge this time?
I'll answer that, but I'm still waiting for Siri to finish about Mr. Khan. You were telling us, what is he about?
So, Aman Khan is originally from Mumbai. In the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, his strike rate was 148. 5 matches, 148 strike rate. This is not his first team, by the way. He has played for the Mumbai Indians, but he didn't get a game there. He was in the squad. Now he is for Kolkata Knight Riders, getting his first debut cap for them. It will be interesting to note what will be the changes in the SRH team, considering Washi is out.
I think Shreyas Gopal would be the most logical option.
Yeah.
So, Aman Khan is an all-rounder.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a fast bowling all-rounder. So that means another all-rounder in the KKR side. Very interesting. Deepens the batting.
Yes.
And I think Sam Billings had to go out because he had not been keeping well, is what I read. That he wasn't well. So if he's not been well, then he goes out, and I think Aaron Finch then comes in. But to balance it out, I guess, because Rahane will go out, because then again Aaron Finch will open. So those are the things that I was getting to hear. Rashid Salam, I wanted to know who's going to replace, but now you've told me who is that other guy.
Harshit Rana.
In terms of Sunrisers Hyderabad, I'm actually waiting on who comes in place of Washington Sundar. I think it is going to be Shreyas Gopal. He hasn't got a chance on like for like because he's also an all-rounder, may not be of the caliber of Washington Sundar with the bat, but I'm sure he can contribute with the bat. So I would want SRH to make that change. And Karthik Tyagi, I've been waiting to see him play. It hasn't happened, and they've continued to go with Umran Malik. I don't know whether now is that day they'll change, or because they've had 2 wins in a row, and so once again you get to see Umran Malik play. But one change definitely I'm expecting. I think Shreyas Gopal comes in now. Or whether they go in with Suchit, I think they've got a left-arm fast bowler.
Yeah. No, left-arm orthodox. Jagadisha Suchit.
Karnataka player.
Yeah.
He was part of Gujarat.
He played for even Mumbai Indians. He also played for...
Won the title with them, if I'm not wrong. Won the title with them, yes.
And he was also for Rajasthan Royals, Jagadisha Suchit. So yes,
I got confused. I was thinking about Shivil Kaushik at one point, who played for Gujarat Lions.
Poor guy. That the ball never spun, but his body definitely spun. That's Shivil Kaushik. Yep. Yeah. So Nikhil, this question in the wake of Patrick Farhad's COVID positive result, do you think the BCCI is better equipped to tackle the COVID challenge this time, unlike in 2021 when multiple biobubble managements led to a lot of logistical issues for them?
See, what happened last time around when they had to abandon the season midway, I think were completely different circumstances. And I think the biggest folly the BCCI had made at the time was to have air travel. And I think keeping that in mind, so the first thing they've done is eliminated air travel, at least till such time that you reach the playoff stage. But before that, they chose one city. And I think after they could successfully complete the second half of the IPL last time in the UAE, I think what they realized that this sort of arrangement where you can have teams in one city with multiple grounds, and that's the perfect way to go about things. And I think that's why they chose Mumbai. So that was the right step to begin with. Then what else can you do apart from creating a bubble? Pretty much no other option. So you have to, take it as it goes along. Whether, you could have teams that would get more and more cases if it's spread from one. What happened? I'll tell you what happened at the first season. The IPL 2 years ago that happened in the Middle East. At that time, because it was the first one after the coronavirus pandemic, at that time they had a lot of things in place. Just to give you an insight, they had GPS system on players. They could actually track the player where they were, whether they were stepping out of the bubble or not. And that was a hard bubble. And so they employed, specific medical agencies to be tracking every team, multiple tests. But then from the next season after that, they kind of eased down on those restrictions and realized in the second half of the IPL last time around that you could still have a successful IPL if you could ease up on those restrictions, so long as you don't have air travel and you kept teams in a bubble, and that bubble included COVID, the hotel, then hotel to ground transfer, then creating a soft bubble at the ground, and then bringing them back. So with all that in place, I think that's the best BCCI can do, and then that's a long-term solution. If you were just doing one season, you could understand those stringent norms that they had 2 years ago, but you realize now this is going to be part of life, and then you'll have to carry on playing sport in such circumstances. So you really can't have those conditions. But these conditions work well in the UAE leg, and I think they rectified that. They learned from that mistake that they made in India. They've rectified that. So now you will have cases. I mean, and I was just reading that the cases are now increasing in Delhi as well and across India. Maybe you are heading for another wave. I don't know. Too early to say that. But cases are going to increase. But the best that the BCCI can do is maintain that bubble, have regular testing. Once, like Patrick Farrad has tested, then isolate the remaining players. They've also got rules in place now, how you can continue playing even if a little bit more cases come out in one team. So I think that's the best that BCCI can do at the moment, and they're far better prepared than last time around.
Right, he pointed out about the special rules in place. So the rule exactly is that if you have 12 players available, and apart from that, if you have an extra substitute fielder, then you have to play your matches. You can't get out of it. You have to continue playing those matches, because if there are 12 players not available for you, then only the BCCI will look at postponing or rescheduling your matches. Otherwise, the IPL teams will have to continue playing.
Shane and Siddhant did a detailed video on what is the current situation when it comes to whether a coronavirus impacts the match, what are the regulations. You can check it out in the video that they just put out on Sports Today. So guys, do have a look at that. And Yash Vilankar has already started the bias against you, Shane.
Oh, go ahead.
Shane, yesterday you supported Rishabh's low strike rate, stating he's captain and weak players following him. We all have ruled out GT prior to the tournament, but look how Hardik played. 1.3B needs such players. I don't know whether
1.3B would refer to
billion.
India, no doubt.
Yep.
And okay, the thing is that, yesterday Hardik played really well. I have to agree with that. But if shouldering that responsibility is easier said than done, as can be seen by the fact that when he was trying to play that anchor role previously, his strike rate absolutely took a beating. It's easier said than done to just, go out there and go bang bang and hope that you don't lose your wicket. And even yesterday, in the beginning, he was he was very, very careful. The only bowler he really looked to attack was Riyan Parag, who I think everyone looks to attack, us included. So, the thing is that he only took those chances there. He did not look to attack, say, a Chahal or any of the other bowlers who he thought might just, and later on, and something that Siddharth was pointing out was that he played out early parts, but when it reached the later stages of the innings, he went bang bang. And that was what he didn't do last time. So as you can see, it's something that he himself is picking up, and it's something that I'm pretty sure Rishabh would also pick up over a point in time, because again, Rishabh is a naturally very attacking player. We've said that many a times, and it's not that easy to just suddenly change this thing, even with the role of captaincy.
No, but last game I think Rishabh tried doing that.
He did.
Rishabh tried doing
and
that. He scored 23, 24 runs. Also, let's not forget they made 215 runs.
So he could actually afford to do that.
Then he made 215, right?
Yes.
So they got to the total they were looking for. Yesterday, Hardik also did not take much time. I thought he started from the word go when he came out. They were 2 wickets down. They lost 2 early wickets.
Yeah.
Both Vijay Shankar was gone. Matthew Wade had run himself out, and then also Hardik played well. So I think so people expect a lot more out of Rishabh Pant,
which is fair, but you have to give the guy time as well.
Yeah.
and he was batting at number 3 in the last game, which for me is one position
Too
higher.
high for him.
Higher. Let's see.
Love Rami is inspired by Nikhil. He wants to go on a vacation soon.
Don't we all?
We
And
all
Kane
want
Williamson has won the toss.
Yeah,
I
Williamson.
think he's going to bowl.
Yep. 25 on 25, it might be. The captain that wins the toss opts to bowl. And Morrison's interviewing.
Yes, he's opt to bowl.
Of course. Sunrisers have chosen to bowl against the Kolkata Knight Riders. So I'll come to this one question.
Is it a record? Is Sunrisers
Fifth
the only
toss.
team to have won
all tosses?
So far?
Yeah, so far, yes.
I was also thinking about that only, Nikhil. Correct. I think so. They are the only team.
Yep, indeed. I'll come to this question once we get to know the team composition and everything, because this relates to an injury. And
I don't think SRH would have made too many except the one. Washington of this.
Yeah, Washi out and maybe Shreyas Gopal or Jagadisha Suchit in.
Yeah.
See, I think so. Gopal is a better batsman also.
Yeah,
I think
and
so.
it's a very underrated leg spinner.
Leg spinner. He'll bowl leg spin, but I'm saying I think so. In terms of utility, Sundar and Gopal are very similar.
Correct.
Can give you those 4 overs and are handy batsmen lower down the order.
Yep.
But Suchit, I don't think so. He's that big a
And
batsman.
Shreyas Gopal, guys, if we speak, remember, he is the only bowler in the history of the IPL to have gotten AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli twice,
In the same
not
season.
once, but 2 times.
I'll never forget. That was 2018, wasn't it?
Yes, 2018 and 2019.
Poor, I mean, like, both matches, and he was so surprised when he got AB both times. Like,
Yeah.
you could see how much it meant to him.
I think bowlers usually were surprised whenever they
When
got
you got
that.
AB, that's true.
I know. But yeah, AB had a weakness against left arm spin and leg spin. So, come on, 2016 IPL final, Vipul Sharma, left armer, got him out, and they were never the same again after that. Oh,
interesting.
Yes, Jagadisha Suchit in place of Washi. So,
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Jagadisha Suchit, the left arm spinner that we said he's in.
Games had good opportunity for Suchit to perform.
Well, oh, clearly.
Good call, guys. Just 10 seconds ago, you were saying no chance, Jagdish and Suchit. huh?
No.
Yeah.
He never said no chance, but I said
Gopal was the better option.
Gopal was the better option considering with the bat, with the ball, and Gopal is a proven performer in the IPL.
Yeah.
Like somebody who has played quite a few games. We were.
I agree, but you should also enjoy taking
Taking the mick out of ourselves? Yeah, why not?
Okay.
We often say, see, I told you this is the player that they should have selected, or this is the team that's won.
Yep.
So let's open up when we say.
So
that.
Nobita Nobby has gone off like a airport announcement. When is Nikhil sir coming to studio? Nikhil.
Nobita Nobby is a regular watcher,
Yep.
has been watching us even while Indian cricket is on. Nobita, I am back tomorrow in the studio. It's a double header and we start pretty early, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
2:45.
2:30 we all ready. 2:45 we start. Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, Shreyas
2:45.
Shreyas in his post-toss comment said that there are injuries in their camp.
Yeah, I mean, you did have Rasik go. Maybe someone like Marv.
Playing.
Yeah,
Jackson
Jackson was
Billings-
expected to
Billings
play.
is the one who was unwell, I think.
Yeah, you pointed that
Yes,
out, Nikhil.
yes.
So maybe a couple of them, or maybe somebody else also, for all we know.
Yeah, so let's see. That's why also.
Just waiting
I
on the
don't know.
team announcement.
Yes.
Has
Exactly.
Kartik Tyagi, has the 11 out, has Kartik Tyagi come in or no? They're going to the same team and just one change?
No Kartik
No Kartik
Tyagi.
Tyagi.
No Kartik Tyagi.
Okay.
Yep. Jagadisha Suchit in place of Washington Sundar. The rest of the Sunrisers Hyderabad team
Unchanged.
remains the
Which
same.
are not much of a shock in all fairness. They've just picked up 2 out of 2 wins. Why would you change the winning formula?
Yep. So Abhishek Sharma is luckily coming back to form at the top of the order. I guess Chennai Super Kings hit a very aggressive 50
Yeah.
when we had all written him off.
True.
So Abhishek Sharma, Kane Williamson, Rahul Tripathi is also. There were some concerns when he pulled up with that
Yeah, but
hamstring
I
issue,
think
but
the
he's-
day after, Moody
Yeah.
had said he'd be fine. So
Nicholas Pooran took toll of Lockie Ferguson.
It could very well have been just a cramp.
yeah, it was
Tripathi.
most likely.
Yeah.
If it was a hamstring, he would not have been playing.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Aiden Markram, Shashank Singh in particular is a pretty aggressive finisher, if I may be. Am I correct in that, Siddhant? Shashank Singh is a
Yes,
very
but we
aggressive
haven't.
finisher.
He hasn't played at all.
He hasn't
now.
played, yeah.
Two games he's been part of. He's proven to be their lucky charm.
Yep.
Not have played a single
Yes.
ball, but yet won and has kept his place
And
in
the
the
rest
side.
of the bowling, as per plan, Jagadisha Suchit, Bhuvneshwar, Marco Janssen, Umran Malik, T.
So
Natraj.
I'll
only
go with
got
the KKR.
2 changes.
Yeah. So I'll go with the KKR lineup now. Obviously, as expected, Finch top of the order with Venki. If that opening fires, oh boy, because
Yep.
2 very aggressive players. Shreyas at 3, Rana at 4, expected. Russell at 5, Sheldon Jackson comes back. Pat Cummins, Sunil Narayan, obviously Umesh. Aman Khan, and Aman Khan is batting at 10. He's an all-rounder. I think they might just move him up. this
They
team.
might just move
Yeah.
him.
I think it's about how the teams are put out because
Yes.
they must have replaced that player
Yes,
at 6
just
alarm.
that.
Otherwise, you see, I think Bhuvi and Marco Janssen will both bat above Suchit also.
Obviously, yes.
So
But and one thing which I have to notice with KKR here, bias kicking in, they have batting potential at least hitting till number 10.
Yes.
Because Umesh can tonk a few as well.
Yeah.
The only one who is probably a little hopeless with the
Varun.
bat is Varun.
Varun Chakravarti, yes. Nikhil, this question, the storytelling writer just wants to
One of our
ask.
regular viewers again.
Yep. Just wanted to know if there's something with the training or the fragility of the bodies of certain player that makes them injury prone. Is it like, say, Washington's been plagued with injuries, Deepak Chahar has been plagued with injuries. Is there something with the training or is it just the body makeup of that player that makes him injury prone or is... What is your take on it?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's always the body type. Why is it that one player is more prone to injury than the other? Case in point, we often refer to him as an example whenever we talk about Indian cricket, and that is Ashish Nehra. You know, he would get injured very often. I've spoken to him and he said that, you know, maybe his body type was such, and he was aware of that. And that is why now you've got these professional trainers, and their job is exactly that, to have a specific kind of training depending on each person's body type. Now, all of us are made differently. Some of us have more stamina. Some of us are made for endurance. Some of us are made for, you know, quick sprinting. So it's your muscle type. What type of fibers do you have? Quick twitch fibers are the one that, you know, generate energy very quickly, but then they run out of steam much quicker than a few other players. You can change that based on the technique that you have. I'll give an example. It's actually the training that you do changes, you know, how your body reacts to certain situation. So, for example, I remember speaking to VVS Lakshman one, and he was telling me that, you know, for cricket, he used to do a lot of these long rounds of the ground, very traditional way of warming up. And because he used to do it, he used to run a lot, as in, you know, he'd end up doing 20, 30, 40 rounds, and because he had a great stamina, he'd do it. But what he was doing gradually by doing those rounds was changing his, you know, what he may have a medium type of fibers in muscle fibers, which would allow him, say, a decent amount of sprinting as well as endurance. But what he was turning them was into, you know, slow twitch fiber, which meant he was gaining endurance, but his instant speed, which you sometimes need between the running, when you're running between the wickets, that is something that he was compromising while doing that sort of training, which is why you have new methods of training. You not only earlier, I mean, if you remember how cricketers would be that keep running, and that would be building stamina, and that's the only training you would do. But why is it that you have now yo-yo tests, or you do these sprint trainings, or you do a bit of 2-kilometer runs but short sprints as well? They try and mix so that the body and the muscle of the body then adapt to various different things, because you need all of it. You need stamina, but you also need some quick sprinting ability when you're running between the wickets or trying to take a catch or fielding. So all of them need to be developed separately, and each of us, our natural bodies are different. So some may be meant for endurance, not really for quick sprinting, so you work extra on that, whereas you don't work on their endurance because it's naturally built. Some could be the exact other way around, and this is what these trainers do, and that's why injuries happen. Because what you do is, if you keep doing one set of training for different body types, then the thing that you're already good at within your natural genetic makeup, that keeps getting better, but the one that you're weak on, you're not working enough. So professional trainers then take a look at your bodies and then work accordingly, and which is why you have, I mean, let's take a look at the workload. Why is it that the same amount of players having the same amount of workload, playing the same amount of international cricket and IPL, why is it that some of them get injured more often and others don't? So it's all got to do with your training. It's all got to do with your body makeup. Those are things that you're born with. So you can't do much. All you can do is work on it and improve on those areas, and then hope that, you know, you don't get injuries. But other injuries, like I think in Washington's case, if you're talking, I think is webbing got split.
Yes.
I think that was a cricketing injury. So not much you can do about it. That's pure bad luck. And in Washington's case, a lot of bad luck has happened. Earlier he had coronavirus as well. So that wasn't much to do with training, but just the circumstances at the time.
Vedant,
He just attracts injuries.
Yeah. Also, guys,
Like, let's just say that.
yeah,
But
before we forget, don't forget,
Gamezy.
make your teams on Gamezy. Whilst Nikhil was on screen, I actually took out a few seconds because I'm a little slow.
Same.
I
Yes.
made my team, and you know, I actually picked Aman Khan in one of them. So
Wow.
fingers crossed he fires.
so you escape Nikhil's jibe that you always make the team slow, so that is
yes,
one good thing.
absolutely.
Rather,
Nikhil explained it so well.
Yes, yeah.
Very good
Very good
explanation of why injuries happen and why certain players are more prone to injuries.
Yep. Vedant Sarode is asking, I mean, pretty harsh in my judgment, but is it the end of the career for all formats for Ajinkya Rahane? Guys, the floor is open for all of
I mean, death, no. But I mean, it's not looking good for the guy, because this was supposed to be the franchise where, you know, he had that role where he preferred.
Yep.
Be an opener, but be an accumulator of runs. That's not happened for him at all, and you're being displaced by Australia's white ball captain. So, I mean, he's not a middle order bat.
Australia's white ball captain also hasn't done a lot in recent times.
Yeah.
Yes, but at least he's been
Aaron Finch really hasn't performed
in the
to his
IPL. I agree.
potential, not just IPL, even for Australia,
True.
even for his side Melbourne Renegades,
Yeah.
he really wasn't doing that much.
In the ODI series against Pakistan, 0-0-11. That was Aaron Finch. And so you also are pretty, what about Rahane? Is it too harsh, this call? End of the career?
I don't think so. I think the problem with them is that both Venkatesh Iyer and Ajinkya Rahane have been unable to give them that fast start or a quick start that they have been wanting for a long time. That really, even Venkatesh Iyer has scored that 50, but
it was
took
a very scratchy 50.
Quite a few balls to get there. And Rahane again, last game, if I'm not wrong, both of them got out for single digit scores.
Single digits,
Yeah.
yes.
So the starts, except for that first game where he scored 44 runs, Rahane also hasn't done much. But to say that is it the end of his career in that sense, I'm not too sure. But probably doesn't bode
Nikhil,
well.
it's a combination question for you. Rahane, you will answer. But despite, Saransh has asked this question, despite the poor form, how do you see Finch's selection in the KKR 11? He's also not been setting the world on fire, as Siddhant also pointed out.
I think Vedant should get the award for the best question so far. I think
Yes.
it's a very interesting question,
Yep.
and it got me thinking once you took that question on the show. So I'm just trying to think from Ajinkya Rahane's point of view. He had a lot to prove after being dropped from the test team. And imagine this is the same Rahane about little more than a year. We were celebrating him for that outstanding Australian series win, and he was on top of the world, captaining the Indian team in that one of those historic triumphs, and nothing could go wrong. After that came under pressure because of some not great performances with the bat. He was getting those crucial 40s, 50s if I recall correctly. But yes, there was a lot of pressure. Youngsters coming in, the likes of Shreyas Iyer doing well in that home series versus New Zealand. So there was pressure on him, and then he didn't quite deliver in the number of opportunities that he got. And I think at the end of the day, it was a fair call that you looked at youngsters and told the likes of Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane that go work in your game and come back. At the time, if I recall correctly, a lot of senior players had said that this is it. You don't see a comeback now for Pujara or Ajinkya Rahane, because if you've picked a few youngsters, you will give them a year or 2 years to perform, and then there is no way of knowing whether they come good or not. And there was a good chance with the kind of form that these youngsters were showing that if they come good, then there'll be very, very rare sort of an opportunity that these two players like Pujara and Rahane will get. And so how do they make the comeback? And on basis of that, I think most experts had picked that this probably was the end of their test career. Then Rahane was handed that lifeline to be picked by a IPL franchise, and we knew that Rahane is sometimes underrated in white ball cricket. He's had a good IPL season a few times before for other franchises, and you knew that because he was hungry, he would come into his own, get those crucial 50s, 60s, and then because we tend to look at these performances, and I mentioned yesterday as well how we sometimes confuse formats and we take performances in one format, and that does help create a perception when you come up for selection in another format. And so Rahane would be hoping that works in his favor. He hasn't grabbed the chances that he's got. Now what happens? He's been dropped. You got an Aaron Finch. I think the only silver lining now for Ajinkya Rahane is that he'd be happy that it's Aaron Finch who's replacing him and not somebody else, because the chances of Aaron Finch not doing well are also very high, and he's been consistently not doing well for the Australian team. So if that doesn't come along, if that move doesn't work, then I see him get a chance again, and then he'll have to make full use of that particular opportunity. But if Aaron Finch has a few good knocks, even if he's not consistent, but 50 one game and then 2 games doesn't do well, another 50 a little later, then he'll get that extended run. So then it may not look good for Ajinkya Rahane, but I still think it's early in the season in the IPL, and if Finch doesn't do well, he may yet get another chance with KKR, and then he'll have to grab it. But yeah, I mean, just looking at it, it is looking very, very difficult now for Ajinkya Rahane to make a comeback, and could very well be the end of him in all formats for the Indian team.
I have a hypothetical question, by the way. If it was like, remember, Finch was not originally signed in the auction.
Yeah.
He was a replacement for
Alex
Hales.
Hales.
If it was Hales replacing Rahane, would we even be having this discussion of him getting another run? I don't think we would.
No, Hales, by the way, especially in the BBL, because he plays for Sydney Thunder, had a decent run. He did not start off well for them, but I think so he took them toward the third place playoff, where they eventually lost to Sydney Sixers and Sydney.
Yeah, I think he had a decent PSL as well, Hales.
PSL also he was fine, but I was actually surprised that I think it's also about the kind of money they got Alex Hales for.
Oh, bargain,
If he
no,
would have
base
been,
price, base price.
if he would have been picked for a higher price, I think both him and Jason Roy would have come to the IPL.
Yeah.
True.
It's just that they got picked for their base price, and because it's an extended 2-month
Bio-bubble,
period
yeah.
that you'll be staying away from home again after playing the BBL, after playing the PSL.
yeah.
I think that's why he backed out. Otherwise, I think Alex Hales would have been a good choice because even though he might not give you a lot of runs, he
Gives you
does
fast
provide
runs.
you good starts.
He did give Rajasthan Royals a bit of stability in 2018 when he came in the middle of the season. So
Yeah.
yes, he's no slouch with the bat. But again, Aaron Finch, man, he kind of. I mean, I have a very personal connect with Aaron Finch. Whenever there is an opportunity, he goes into a different team. Started with Rajasthan Royals, went to Delhi Capitals, played one season for Mumbai Indians. Again, now he's with Kolkata Knight Riders. When Sunrisers Hyderabad were informed, he was one of the core members there, opening the batting. Okay,
Then went to Gujarat Lions.
Gujarat Lions, he was there.
He played for Pune Warriors as well.
Sahara Pune Warriors, he was the
Oh,
captain.
Pune Warriors India, yeah.
Sahara
correct.
Pune Warriors. He also opened with Devdutt Padikkal for RCB.
Correct. Yes.
So man,
He has travelled everywhere and
He's
somehow.
the IPL's real journeyman. We have to
9
look at it.
teams, and today is making his debut.
And made his impact nowhere. so.
But the funny thing is, he played for 9 teams, but nobody can recall. I recall one innings, 170 odd runs he scored against RCB at the Chinnaswamy because I was there watching that game live at the stadium, and I remember there were sixes coming, like the ball flying to my left, to my right rather, and then to my left, and I was like, wow, Finch playing a great innings. And then I remembered after that innings, he did not do anything.
In 2014, he did hit a knock of 87, if I'm not mistaken, against Delhi Capitals. So I think it was the Delhi Capitals or Delhi Daredevils at that time in Dubai. He did hit one good knock of 80 in that. But our family members are at it. Manikant Reddy, Mutyala and Super Giants are having a go. Without Sundar, SRH might struggle in the power play. Kind of agree.
Oh, yeah.
But Super Giants, they say SRH have Bhuvi and Janssen. They will manage. And Bhuvi, if I have to say,
Has a very good record against KKR.
and Aaron Finch.
Oh yes.
He, in the 2018-19 series, Bhuvi really troubled Aaron Finch.
I think every swing bowler troubles Aaron
Yes,
Finch, exactly, because he's bang bang, so-
Ishant in swinger troubled Aaron Finch. Bhuvi in swinger troubled Aaron Finch. So yes, I mean Manikant, your comment might be true, but they have backup, as Super Giants have pointed out. Like, yep, there is Bhuvaneshwar, and once he gets that in swing going, man, he's a different proposition altogether.
And you never know. See, they have not gone in with a wicket taking option, but they've gone in with somebody who might they be looking at as a containment option.
True.
I think Jagdisha
Suchit,
Suchit is that option. Shreyas Gopal might have gone for a few runs,
But he will
he's
give you
he's a
wickets.
wicket taker.
Wicket taker.
I think Suchit is that role with Washington Sundar plays in the power play to try and contain batsmen, irrespective of whether you end up picking a wicket or two or not. But it's just that they want to stop that free flow of runs.
But
at the
Suchit might
start.
just be a player who, if he comes in early, Venkatesh will target. And KKR do have a lot of players in
I
that
really hope
lineup.
Venkatesh targets somebody because let's just say he has looked off color.
He's looked
this
very off
IPL.
colour, I
Even that
agree.
50
Was
was
scratchy,
completely
very
out of
scratchy,
sorts. I
very, very
thought
scratchy.
he struggled to his 50.
Yeah, he did.
It was
But it's not just
not
him.
a great knock.
There is a lot of players in that KKR lineup who like playing spinners. So I think Suchit will be the one targeted. There is Rana, there is Shreyas.
Let's hope
there
let's see what Rana
Sunil
also
Narayan.
does.
Yes,
Because
another one who's under fire.
Because another one who has not really performed. Last game he scored 30 odd runs, 30 exactly. And apart from that, he really didn't do anything.
didn't do anything.
Before that. So
Again,
big game for him.
Rana and Sanju Samson almost similar. They start off well, then there is a lean middle patch.
But Rana has actually been a very consistent performer for KKR. So I
That
highly
is why
disagree with that.
they went for him at
big
this
for him.
IPL auction.
Dave,
also.
he had one great season for Mumbai Indians, and after that he was picked by KKR. But
And he's
again, for 2 seasons he had a trough. He started well, but had a trough. But then in 2021 he bounced back.
Yeah.
And now also he started okay.
But he didn't start. He's not started well also this
Yeah.
time.
Also-
So maybe a good middle period is coming.
Rahul Tripathi will be playing against one of his former teams.
Yep.
Yeah, how many teams has he played for?
Pune, Kolkata, and Rajasthan.
There we go.
That's it.
Three.
So, okay, Super Giants. Why David not playing for Mumbai Indians? I think Mumbai will release him and get Stokes or Sam Curran.
Could be.
I mean, Mumbai's auction strategy, you dissected it out, Nikhil. I mean, a clear admission by Mahela Jayawardene that, okay, we might have kind of botched it up at the auction. So, what is Mumbai Indians' strategy? I mean, are they looking ahead to next year, 2022? Okay, let's forget it. We have had a bad year. Let's see for 2023. What is that strategy? I just can't make any sense of Mumbai Indians' strategy at this point in time.
Yeah, I think we've dissed Mumbai
Yeah.
Indian about their strategy a lot on our program, and none of us could really understand it. I was listening to Surya Kumar Yadav, I think, who spoke earlier today to the media, and he was talking about how that they're developing youngsters. He actually said that, take a look at our team in the future, and we are going to have a lot of young stars, like superstars coming out of the ranks, and that's what you're working on, which could be true. I mean, Mumbai Indians have done it in the past, given a lot of stars to Indian cricket going forward, and a lot of youngsters have been discovered by them, which have really progressively helped the Indian team also do better. My point is, in IPL, I often say, what is short term and long term? Everything is short term in the IPL. Yeah, it's not Indian cricket or anything that you're working in the long term. I mean, immediate success is what people look at, and then you have these auctions that the teams are changed completely. So what happens with all of that in mind? I think that is something that you have to see. Can you really afford to have these future sort of strategies? Because it's not, I know people may compare it to football clubs and things like that, but remember, there isn't anything like major auction, big auction, and so many changes.
Exactly.
So your core remains. Then you sign these contracts with players. Also, you got to look at the contracts. The contracts here are 3-year contracts. So even if I groom a youngster, he'd go. How is it that me as a club gain? We give him the exposure, we give him the training, but then I don't own any part of him. He can go to any other club. Whereas what happens in football teams is that because I spend a lot of money, I can also earn a lot of money by selling him to another club. That doesn't happen in the IPL, and which is why I think this future of IPL or building a future team doesn't quite work in the IPL. So I don't understand that strategy. Short term is what you need to look at, maybe a season or 2 seasons. Beyond that, nobody knows in the IPL. Today, I'm actually really happy you mentioned Rahul Tripathi. I'm very happy that he's playing because there were talks about him. You will remember he got that hamstring injury last time.
Yep.
So we weren't sure if he's going to be playing or not. And hamstring injury sometimes takes 6 to 8 weeks. So that's great news for SRH fans that he's available. He's been that mainstay for them, batting at number 3. Good on them that Williamson is striking form. I'm really looking forward to him. And the example that I see is that of Hardik Pandya, who took time to get into the groove, but now look at his strike rate where it's gone. I wonder whether Williamson will adopt that same sort of strategy, because he was coming off an injury and was bit more circumspect with his batting and not batting a very high strike rate. I'm guessing now that he's got a few runs under his belt, he could become dangerous going forward, even in terms of his strike rate. So Puran also getting a few runs. So I think SRH is going to be looking at that batting, which is looking good. But batting is the concern for KKR. I mean, just look at that batting. They will need to sort that out. Rahane wasn't getting you too many runs. Nitish Rana not getting you a lot of runs. And then you got Aaron Finch, who's been a guy who was not in form. So I'm just looking at that Kolkata batting. Then you had Venkatesh Iyer, another one, not getting you too many runs. Pat Cummins helped them out one time around, but is it going to happen again and again? Andre Russell is the only one I think who's got the most amount of runs so far for that team. So plenty there for Kolkata to look at as far as their batting is concerned. Varun Chakravarti, I was reading that he's got another mystery ball or something up his sleeve. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, because he also really needs to come good. Narain has been fantastic. So plenty of things to look forward to in this game. Even if you're not supporting any of the team, even if you're a neutral, I'm looking forward to a lot of these mini battles or these different sort of contexts that you will have in this encounter.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to look at it, Sunrisers Hyderabad's batting actually looks good if everybody chips in. Williamson is striking form, Tripathi is in good form, Sharma is in good form. Puran got back into form against GT, the way he hit Lockie Ferguson in that game. Then perhaps
the question is whether it will click, as you point out.
Again,
and then
every team has got a good lineup.
Yeah.
If you would have looked at KKR lineup the way they were playing last season, you would have said it looks like a fantastic lineup.
Yep.
It's just that because Venkatesh Iyer has looked out of form, Nitish Rana hasn't scored much runs, and now that you've got somebody like a Sheldon Jackson in there as well, so you are worried about that lineup. So Shane, we don't know. I think so. He's going for SRH.
Just taking a different view, do you think Markram should open with Abhishek Sharma and let Kane bat at number 3?
But Kane is already batting slow, no? So no, I don't agree.
No.
I think he's best in this.
I think we discussed this. We thought
We thought Abhishek Sharma would drop
should
down,
go
in
down
fact.
earlier when the first two games had happened. He has proven us wrongs. We had to eat our words the way he
Yeah.
batted in the third and the fourth game.
True.
Williamson last game, I think the Williamson's role is that sheet anchor's role. I think Abhishek Sharma has that license to go at from
True,
the start.
true, yes.
Yep.
I think he is the guy they are looking to get them quick
Quick
runs
starts,
in the power play.
Yes.
Did not happen as much as you'd want in the last game. Even though they started slowly, he scored that some 20 odd runs
Quick
in
fire
the one
runs,
over,
yeah.
Yep.
and then finished with a 40 odd
40, yes.
innings. And Williamson played well last time.
Absolutely.
So expecting him to come good again.
The
maybe.
final comment that I'll take before the predictions. I mean, thoughts on Pant, Iyer, Ishan Kishan playing with a good strike rate few years back and now not showing intent and playing with 120, 130 strike. Divyansh Jain has a question. The floor is open, guys.
Okay, let's see. First off, if they were playing with those strike rates few years back, as you say. The equation of theirs has changed a lot from few years back. A few years back, not all of them were even guaranteed to be in and around the team. And it is different roles for sure for a lot of them. In the case of someone like Ishan Kishan, I think he's looking a little out of touch. So it's not just a question of intent. It is also the question of whether or not he's actually in any form. Iyer, to be fair, if we're talking about Shreyas here, then he's gotten plenty of starts. His problem hasn't been intent. His problem has been converting them to runs. Pant, again, different role. So I think you have to look at each of them as an individual case rather than boxing them together, because it's different teams, different roles, different circumstances. But I don't think, if you're looking at them, again, guys, IPL is not necessarily a factor when it comes to international cricket. So, I mean, we saw it. We saw that they went for the IPL specialists for the last World Cup. They got found out horribly at international level. So it's about sticking with your core players, because again, you can't change teams just before a World Cup. India had one major problem for 2019 was that number 4 slot that came back to bite them horribly because they chopped and changed that much.
Yep, Siddhant. I just feel that it is a question of saddled with responsibilities, and the problem in particular for Pant and Iyer is that if you look at a DC team below Pant, there is
It's
not
very
many
shaky.
people who are contributing. Iyer perhaps that in, but Ishan opens the batting, and with Rohit Sharma.
He's out of touch. Ishan is out of touch.
Yeah,
at this moment. Let's be fair.
Scored an 80 in the first game, scored a 50 in the second game. 3 games he hasn't scored, I agree. But you can't say he's like completely out of form.
Exactly.
No, he's struggled in these last 3 games.
Last 3 games he hasn't really looked in touch, but with Ishan Kishan you don't know what you're going to get next game.
Yeah.
But
And
like,
it could be for
His
all
forest
you know,
comes box
a
of chocolates.
45 ball 90 also.
True, true,
So
true.
so I think it's like we are jumping the gun right now.
Yeah.
I think we have to see how this season progresses. Maybe Rishabh Pant, we saw it in the last game also, just
Yeah.
trying to hit those balls out of
Exactly.
the park. Tried, scored those 20 odd runs. Maybe we are going to see a big innings. from him soon.
Nikhil, what about you in this debate? Ishan, Pant and Iyer.
I'll answer it on a different session because I'll take 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, prediction time, boys. Come on.
Yeah, prediction.
Why are we asking me who I'm picking to win? Come on.
No, score.
Score, I would say that they will get 200.
200.
I'm being very biased here, but then remember, this is a very high scoring game. 170 is among the lowest scores here.
I will say 185 KKR are making.
I'm saying 210 and I'm hoping for a Russell show.
Oh, same. I think
Nikhil.
we all are.
I'm going with 175.
Okay.
175.
Nikhil is low balling. Nikhil is low balling.
Who are we picking to win, guys?
But
we know.
win will be in the
No, we always
No,
start
we
also.
always pick.
Yeah,
Nikhil,
okay.
who are you picking to win? SRH?
I'm picking SRH.
Okay.
A better team on paper. Yes.
Shane, we know KKR. You?
What about you? Last, I'm
No,
last.
you're not last.
No.
I'm picking SRH.
So Nikhil and Sid V with SRH. I'm picking KKR.
Great. The team is divided today.
My sincere thanks to Siddharth.
Our good friend Saransh, who's also a big KKR fan,
Is
just
thanking-
thanked
Yeah.
Sid V for picking Sunrisers
Because that means
now
the
he
KKR
believes
win.
KKR will win.
Yeah,
not the-
going against my gut instinct, by the way. Yep.
Let's see. Anyway, we will see you again in the mid innings time. So do join us again. Don't forget Gamezy, download, play the games. Use the link from our descriptor. You'll get bonus catch.
Yes. Join us in the mid innings at 8:40? 9:10. Sorry.
8:40.
9:10.
He's really overestimating the abilities.
1 hour 10 minutes, they'll finish 20
20
overs.
overs,
Yes.
as if. Anyway.